Where on earth do you find your purpose? I've got the answers for you up next. Well, hey friend. So not long ago in the Grow Your Faith community, I actually had a student reach out who was so incredibly frustrated. She said, I keep asking and asking God for the answers. What is my purpose? I know there's got to be something more in life, but I can't figure out what it is. And no matter what I pray, God doesn't seem to be listening. Now, if you're feeling like this as well, I'm going to break it all down for you in today's video. My name is Tammy from the website Footprints of Inspiration and a Faithful God podcast, where I teach women how to let go of that need for perfection in their faith walk so they can show up perfectly imperfect and create a deep and meaningful relationship with God. Now, when it comes to our purpose in life, I absolutely love this quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson. The purpose of life is not to be happy. It's to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you have lived and lived well. We all want to feel like we're needed. We all want to feel like we make a difference in this life. And that's exactly how God created us, to yearn for something more, to yearn for that purpose in life. That desire to want to live out our ultimate calling. And in Jeremiah 29:11, I know this is a verse you've heard over and over and over again, but I want you to look at it with fresh eyes today. Where it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." God has plans for you and I. He has a very specific purpose, a very specific reason that he created us. There's not one person on this earth that he did not create on purpose. And in order to find our purpose, we've got to understand where that comes from, right? It comes from God, first and foremost. You see, our purpose is more than just a career or hobby. It's a divine calling uniquely designed for you. Each and every one of us has our own unique calling. In other words, we were created on purpose for a purpose, just like I mentioned. Now in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10, it teaches us this: "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." This reminds us again that God created every single one of us on purpose and for a purpose, for a unique reason. And by the way, there's no one better than another. I think so often we get caught up in thinking that, oh, look what they're doing. They're out doing this great, amazing work. They're out on a mission field in a third world country. And we then feel like maybe our purpose isn't quite as important. But that's not the truth at all. Each and every one of us has a specific purpose in life. We are not all called to the same mission field. Whatever your purpose is, it is no less. It is no more, it is no less. We are all equally valued. We are all equally needed. Again, we can't look from our perspective where we have this hierarchy of what roles or what our purposes are. No, that's not the case at all. And in fact, I want you to understand that there are some seasons you're going to go and your purpose is going to change in different seasons, right? Now my boys are grown. Now it's not my purpose to, take them where they need to be all the time and all the things that you're doing with young kids. Now my purpose has changed, right? And so yours is going to change too. But it all stems from God. That's where we find our purpose. And we've got to understand that it's more than a job. It's more than a hobby. It's more than our careers. It's more than anything else. It's about our divine calling. It's about God's purpose for our lives. Now, in just a little bit, I'm going to give you 3 key steps you can take to find your purpose. So make sure you stay with me. So at the beginning of this video, I actually talked about one of my students from the Grow Your Faith community who came to talk to me and was just so frustrated about her purpose. The trouble was she was sitting inside. She was sitting in she was gridlocked is what it was. She was gridlocked and thinking that, oh, I've got to find my purpose. I've got to find my purpose. And it was leaving her almost paralyzed, right? You've heard of that analysis paralysis. She was so focused on finding her purpose that she wasn't moving. She wasn't stepping out. She wasn't doing any of the things she needs to do. And you see, when we go to find our purpose, we've got to understand that our purpose is not found inside our comfort zones. Did you catch that, my friend? I'm going to repeat that again. Our purpose is not found inside our comfort zone. We've got to step off the shores. We've got to be willing to have faith in God to say, all right, Lord, I have no idea how this is going to play out. Lord, I don't feel equipped for this, right? How many men and women in the Bible did God call to do something? And yet they said to him, yeah, but God, I don't feel equipped for this. You see, when we throw out those yeah, but I'm not enough. Yeah, but I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, but I don't have enough resources. Yeah, but when we get stuck in those yeah, buts, we are sitting in our comfort zone and we aren't willing to have faith in God, to trust God to step outside our comfort zone. Because outside the comfort zone, that's where we find our purpose. It's not found inside where we feel comfortable. We've got to understand that, and we've got to be willing to have faith in God, even when we have no idea how it's going to play out, and we've got to step outside those comfort zones. Now we can take Moses, for instance. Moses stepped outside his comfort zone when God called him at the burning bush. That was a moment that transformed his life from tending sheep in Midian to leading the Israelites out of Egypt. A shepherd, from leading sheep, this man who had no idea that he was out tending sheep, and God called him from a burning bush and said, come with me, Moses. You are going to be the one to lead the Israelites out of Egypt. How many times have you felt, called to something and felt completely inadequate? We have no doubt Moses felt that way. No doubt he felt that way. Like, oh my, who am I to lead the Israelites out of Egypt? And we see this play out in Exodus chapter 3. And in verse 10, it says, God says to him, so now go, I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. So in other words, God called Moses to a task that was far beyond anything he knew. A task. This is what he knew. He was herding sheep, and this is all that he knew. And yet God called him to a new task. And in fact, as we see, Moses even questioned his own worth in this situation, in this story. As we go down into verse 11, it teaches us what Moses said when he says, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? A simple question. How many times have you thought, who am I to do this? Yet God reassured him. And when we go into verse 12, here's what we learn, what God said to Moses. Now then, go, I will help you speak and will teach you what to say. Now then, go. Step outside your comfort zone because that's where your purpose is found. Now then, go. I will teach you, God is telling Moses, I will teach you what to say. I will teach you where to go. I will guide you every step of the way. This divine assurance empowered Moses to embrace the unknown, proving that stepping out of our comfort zone with God's guidance can lead to an extraordinary breakthrough in fulfilling our purpose. If you want to experience your purpose, if you want to know what your purpose is, you've got to be willing to step outside your comfort zone. You've got to be willing to say, all right, God, here I am. You lead the way. I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea how I'm going to make this, how I'm going to make this work. But I'm going to trust you in all of this. And that's exactly what Moses did. One of my absolute favorite, and I know I say this a lot because I love scripture, but one of my absolute favorite passages in the Bible is Psalm chapter 32, verse 8 and 9. And here's what it says. I hear the Lord saying, I will stay close to you, instructing and guiding you along the pathway for your life. I will advise you along the way and lead you forth with my eyes as your guide. So don't make it difficult. Don't be stubborn when I take you where you've never been before. Don't make me tug and pull you along. Just come with me. When God is calling you to something, He is your your guide. He is your eyes. He is the one who is going to guide you every single step of the way. So don't be stubborn. Don't make Him tug and pull you. Just go with Him. Now, does that mean it's going to be super easy and you're going to say, okay, great, everything God calls me to, I'm just going to step out, super easy peasy? Absolutely not. Why? Because we live on this earth. And we feel we have that false sense that we need to understand everything that's going on in order to feel secure. But that's not truth, right? That's one of those feelings. And what do we know about feelings? They aren't facts. We do not need to know all the details before stepping out. That's fact. We don't, because God has them. God has all the details. He's going to take us step by step by step. He will put people, He will provide in every way, not just financially, which is huge and important, but He's going to provide by putting people in your life as well. Do not make God tug and pull you. Don't be stubborn. Just go with Him. Now, in just a moment, I'm going to share with you 3 steps you can take to actively pursue your purpose. But before I do, I want to invite you to hop on over and sign up, register for my brand new free challenge. Next Monday, March 17th, if you're watching in real time, we are going to we've put together a free 5-day challenge with you. I'm going to work with you live in this challenge to help you see what a faith walk really looks like. And I'm going to also help you find ways to grow closer to God that don't feel overwhelming, that don't feel like you just don't have time for. Even in the midst of your busy day, you can actually use these steps, take these steps to stay connected to God. So here's what I want you to do. This is going to be so much fun. We're going to have this 5-day challenge. It is going to be so much fun. We are going to have replays as well, so you're going to have access to those. But what I want you to do is hop on over to footprintsofinspiration.com/challenge. That's footprintsofinspiration.com/challenge and join that free challenge today. So now that you understand where your purpose comes from, that you were created on purpose for a purpose. It comes from God. Now that you also understand that in order to find your purpose, you've got to step outside your comfort zone. Now I want to share with you 3 things that you can do, active steps that you can take to seek and pursue your purpose. Number 1, spend time in prayer. Now listen, I get it. You maybe have been asking for that purpose. And I'm going to walk you through this in just a moment. But spend time in prayer, just making that ask, right? You've heard me say that. If you've been following me for any length of time, you know that all we have to do is make that ask. Lord, what is my purpose? What do you have in store for me? But I want to be very cautious about this. I don't want you to focus so much on this big, grandiose purpose of yours, but show up today and say, Lord, how can I best serve you today? You see, because as we learn to take these daily steps with God, as we learn to take these steps and go where God is leading us for today, as we do that, we step outside our comfort zone. What we start to learn is what we enjoy, what lights a fire in us, what drains us, right? Because our purpose isn't something that's going to continually drain us. God doesn't give us something and put something in our lives if it's going to be a continual drain. I'm not saying it's not going to be stressful from time to time. I'm not saying that it's going to be super easy peasy. What I'm saying is it's not something that's going to drain you on a daily basis. So what we do is we start with today, right? And as you learn to take that step and you go where God is calling you for today, you're teaching yourself how to step outside your comfort zone, how to trust God, how to put your faith in God. And God will lead you to those things that give you that fire, that burning fire in your gut, those things that you really, really want to, that really, really bring you joy. Because that purpose that God created you for, it's something that's going to just bring that true joy, right? It's what Bruce Wilkinson in the book, The Dream Giver, calls that sweet spot, doing something you absolutely love while serving the Lord. So again, number one, you start with prayer simply by saying, Lord, how can I best, what is it? What is your purpose for me, Lord? But how can I best serve you today? I talk about this in another video, all about really those seven effective prayers for spiritual growth. And one of those prayers is, Lord, how can I best serve you today? You see, because as we keep doing that, as we keep making that ask and stepping outside our comfort zone, following God, He's going to lead us to our purpose. But we've got to be willing to take that first step. Number two, take some time for reflection. What are the things that like I just mentioned, what are the things that fill you up? And what are the things that drain you? The things that drain you that's not your purpose in life. You've got people who are accountants who love to do math and accounting and all of that stuff, where as another person, it would completely drain them. You see, we can use the gifts and talents that God has given us, and those things that light a fire in us, that get us excited, those are the things that God created within us, right? Those gifts that He's given us. Again, I don't want to say that you'll never have stress and that it won't be difficult from time to time, but something that continually drains you is not your purpose. It's something that lights a fire in you and that you find joy in. And number three, just step out. You see, if you're sitting in your comfort zone, like we've talked about throughout this video, if you're sitting in your comfort zone waiting for all the answers, you're going nowhere, my friend. You will go absolutely nowhere. Step out. Stop waiting for all the answers before stepping out. Just start doing it. Lord, how can I best serve you today? All right, let's get up and go. Our purpose is not found inside our comfort zone, and we don't wait on the sidelines until we have all the details. We step out no matter what. We step out even when we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. We step out and just take care of today. In Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 and 6, it teaches us to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. Even when we don't have all the details, even when we don't know exactly how this is going to play out, we step out anyway. As long as you are walking close with God, as long as you're doing that, as long as you're connecting with Him every single day, if you've taken the wrong path, if you misread something or misheard something, as long as you're walking close to God, God's going to put you right back on the right path. Stop sitting on the sidelines in fear. Stop sitting on the sidelines waiting for all the answers and just step out. I understand that stepping outside your comfort zone can be challenging. It's hard. And at first, especially, it's going to feel itchy and scratchy and uncomfortable, but you do it anyway. You do it anyway. And the more you do it, the easier it will become to trust God. Stepping outside our comfort zone is a crucial part of our journey, of our faith walk. If we sit on the sidelines, waiting for all the answers, waiting for all the details, we are not going to grow. We've got to step outside our comfort zone, first and foremost. So, my friend, I am going to hold you to this. I'm going to hold you accountable. I want to hear from you. I want you to drop in the comments below and tell me the one thing you're going to do to step outside your comfort zone today. The one thing you're going to do to pursue the purpose God has for you. I want to hear from you. My friend, you were created on purpose and for a purpose. You have a very special, important role in God's kingdom. Step outside your comfort zone. Take one step today, because as you keep stepping, as you keep going, God's going to reveal your purpose to you. Now, I've got another video for you on how to unlock your purpose through prayer. I'm going to put it up on the screen for you now, as well as putting it in the show notes below. And then, my friend, I pray that this blessed you today. You were created on purpose and for a purpose. Don't you forget it. And then I'll meet you back here in the next video.